Oh boy, folks, have I got the video for you today, or tonight, or this morning, or this afternoon, whenever you happen to be watching it. Sorry, that was dumb. This video came across my desk recently. And no, I don't have a desk, but I had to share it with the masses so they could see how ridiculous this piece of journalism, and I use the term journalism here very sarcastically, actually is, and how they can be surprised that it ever made it on the airwaves. It's from the very popular show on the very popular network Fox News. It's from Fox and Friends, and I'll be honest, it's actually a little hard to watch. There's not much else I can say to preface it, so I'll just roll it. Alright. You know what? This is a good start. Solid graphic, lets you know what's going on. The scales thing lets you know it's going to be fair and balanced. I'm in. I'm going into this with an open mind. I'm in.
An historic and controversial move coming out of Madison, Wisconsin, an historic and controversial city. That city is now the first in the country to pass legislation listing atheism as an officially protected class.
Alright, so what we just saw was packed with delicious nuggets that'll keep our brain jaws chewing for quite a while. First, I'd like to just point out the pure disdain with which he says atheist. Just listen to it.
Atheism as...
Mwah! That's some tasty judgment. He says that with such disbelief, like, man, I can't believe we're still dealing with these guys. Can we throw those in with the gays and liberals? Yeah? Cool. Let's do that. And the second best part is the way the other anchor like shakes her head when he says atheism. It's like he just said civil rights or something. You can just tell it makes her blood boil.
Morning, Anna.
So where does this hostility come from in the first place toward Christians?
What? Fox News is pandering to their conservative demographic. They don't even try to hide it. What is the context for that question? Can we just back that up for a second and hear what she said again?
So where does this hostility come from in the first place toward Christians?
There's no way that came out of her mouth. This is an ordinance that grants protected status to atheists, meaning that they can't be denied public accommodation, employment, housing, because of their lack of a religious belief. These are the same protections that are enjoyed by the religious, students, anyone of a different gender or race, the handicapped, those of varying political viewpoint or marital status. So by making society more inclusive for one group of people and a long list of other groups of people, the rest of them are being attacked, or more specifically, Christians are being attacked. And all of this in a country where it's still illegal for atheists to hold public office in 7 states. North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Arkansas, Maryland, Mississippi, and Tennessee. Oh? You don't think that's what she's saying? Let's roll it again. There's no screen back there. Why did I do that?
This ordinance was driven by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. It's a group of angry atheists.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot. Wanting civil rights so that you're not discriminated against makes you an angry atheist. How rude of them to not want to be fired because they don't have the same religious views as their employer. Doesn't it just make your blood boil?
For example, they were behind the IRS.
What? No. Billy, did you hear about this? The FFRA is behind the IRS? What? Yeah, that's how he phrased it. Sensationalist, sure. I mean, I didn't listen to the second part of his sentence where he explains that, no, that's not true. They were demanding for audits of sketchy churches, but wow, doesn't it sound scary when he says it like that?
Monitor sermons and homilies by Christian pastors.
To read from the FFRA's official website. The Freedom from Religion Foundation sued the Internal Revenue Service for failing to enforce electioneering restrictions against churches and religious organizations, calling it a violation of the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment and of FFRF's equal protection rights. FFRF filed the lawsuit November 14, 2012, in U.S. District Court of the Western District of Wisconsin. At the time of our suit, the IRS had not publicly announced any church audits since 2009, when a federal court in Minnesota ruled that an IRS official who had authorized a church audit was not of sufficient rank. After a restructuring in 1998, the IRS has not designated officials who could institute audits under the Church Audit Procedures Act of 1984.
So this is a group that's filled with hostility toward people of faith.
Right.
Okay, I feel like I've covered this. Time to move on.
So it's never just about tolerating their views, it's about attacking other people's views.
Nope. It's no more of an attack on the religious than it is an attack on the handicapped, or than the Civil Rights Act was an attack on whites. I seriously have no idea where you're getting this, dudes.
Madison City Council member Anita Weir was one of the voices behind this, and here's her explanation. She said, "This is important because I believe it's only fair that if we protect religion in all its varieties, we should also protect non-religion from discrimination. It's only fair."
Boom! That's it. Right there. That's the news. That's the word. That's it. Pack it up. We're done. That's it.
That does, in some sense, seem fair, but that's not exactly their aim, is it?
A whole body of bureaucrats will spring up that will be tasked with hectoring people of faith, badgering, in Wisconsin, people of faith who might not want to hire somebody. You know, there's a lot of reasons why Christians or Jews might not want to hire an atheist.
I'm literally stunned. A man went on national television and advocated for what is essentially religious discrimination. Imagine a world where there was an atheist-dominated TV channel, and the pundits there were talking about how they would never hire a Christian, and that was their store policy, and that was the final word, and that was it. Just picture it in your mind. Now, imagine your grandmother's ensuing Facebook posts. It would be claim after claim of how it's against the Constitution, which it would be, and there would be comment upon comment about people complaining about the state of the country, and then they'd throw up some Ronald Reagan memes and maybe some American flag emojis.
In fact, it's in the New Testament. It says things such as avoid them, disassociate with them in Romans, Thessalonians, Corinthians. You might have a job, for example, where you want someone who believes in a higher power. For example, maybe you're running an airline and hiring pilots who you prefer they maybe believe in hell.
This is actually getting hard to watch. I'm just hoping that the audience, you can understand by seeing this how this is screwed up on so many levels. I'll start with a basic one. The usage of religious texts to justify secular law. That's flat out un-American. If you want to go live in a theocracy, that's fine. Here, ISIS is looking for new members, okay? But not in America. That's not how we do it. We have freedom of speech. We have tolerance. We have acceptance. We have diversity. We have religious freedom. But not in that way. That's what America was built on. And I'm pretty sure that our overwhelmingly deist founding fathers would be rolling over in their graves listening to this schmuck talk.
These people are so committed to their own version of theology. They have such hatred of Christians and Jews and publicly exercising their faith.
Again, no, this has literally nothing to do with that. This has to do with not being discriminated against because you don't have the same faith as somebody else. You can't not hire someone because they're a Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Jew. You shouldn't be able to not hire someone, to discriminate against someone in any way because of their religious belief or lack thereof. That's just basic human decency, and it's clear that these pundits don't have a shred of it. I just hope that you as the viewer can understand what's so horribly wrong with the picture that Fox News has painted. And I hope that you'll join me in an effort to do everything in your power to make sure that discrimination in such a way does not exist for any group at any time nationwide. To encourage such ordinances for any social group experiencing injustice in this country. That you don't listen to people who would rather they have the right to exert their power to discriminate against a fellow human being. Atheist, gay, straight, Christian, Muslim, I don't care. None of it, in any form, is okay. I hope we get that message out, and that it permeates across the country, and that something is done about it. Thank you. I can't handle this video anymore, but if you want to watch these people blather on for a few minutes more, then be my guest. I'll put the rest of the segment, so maybe like a minute and a half after this, and you can enjoy. Please don't forget to subscribe, yada yada yada. All your support really does mean a lot. Thank you very much.
This is a story as old as time. This weekend, guys, is a story of escaping and overcoming this kind of hatred. Christians and Jews have been putting up with this for thousands of years. People who don't like that they believe. So we're pretty much used to it by now. But once again, it always seems to find new ways to attack and destroy and erode at the free exercise of religion.
Well, and there's, of course, a political element here. I mean, if there's no God, then the highest authority is government.
Yeah. Well, that's, of course, right, Tucker, and that's why this country was founded on exactly the opposite principle. Exactly the opposite principle that men have individual dignity, women have individual dignity because they're created in the image of God. And that's what these people can't stand, is we live in a country that respects and treasures religious belief.
Jay, Christian Adams, thank you so much for being on fire with your faith this morning.
Thanks.
Thanks, Christian.